Hello, hello, Hidden Hermit here. And look, here is the Emperor from the Night Sun deck. We're talking about the Emperor, and well, just look at him. He's got a very definite Jesus vibe about him. if if there is such a thing, I mean, let's be honest. Obviously, it owes a lot to, sort of Renaissance depictions of what the Jesus figure was supposed to have looked like. There are a few, really. He's got long hair and he's bearded, and he has this crown of thorns as well, which isn't unusual for people in the Night Sun deck to have a crown of thorns. Most of the court cards, the kings and the queens and the pentacles and the wands all got crowns of thorns. It surely means something. Maybe even just, some sort of regal element. But anyway, this is the Emperor. Now, when we think about the Emperor in its in the form that we understand it, this dude here, he's the King of Kings, isn't he? He's the boss. But I'm not really here to talk about the archetypal figure of the Emperor. And when we talk about archetypes, he's the divine masculine, the father figure, if you like. I like to think of him as the boss. You don't want to mess with the boss, do you? Well, maybe you do. Maybe you're a bit of a rebel, but that's entirely up to you. So here we go. This is the Night Sun Emperor, and indeed he is incredibly regal. The first thing that we can point out is he is associated with the zodiac sign of Aries, which is, I've always found it a little bit weird, to be honest. And I'll tell you why. Aries is the child of the zodiac, the first sign. Could be quite impetuous and rash sometimes, a lot of energy, whereas the Emperor is a very stable figure. There's a lot of authority about him. Now, that doesn't mean it can't match up. I mean, you can obviously get a mature Aries energy, and that's what I think the Emperor is going for, really. As opposed to, say, I don't know, maybe the Knight of Wands, perhaps. Although, he's signified by Sagittarius and that mutable energy, but I think you see what I'm getting at. So yeah, we also are told that it is tarot key number 4, and the Hebrew letter there is, and there is a point of contention about the Hebrew letter associated with the Emperor and with Aries as well. So this is Zadi, or Tzadi, if you want to pronounce it phonetically. In some systems, Zadi is associated with the star, with Aquarius, but not in this system. Not in this system. Lots of interesting things going on in this card. Lots of interesting sort of colour palettes as well. You've obviously got the red here, which we're quite comfortable with. You've got the ram's heads, which again very resplendent on the Waitsmith, and indeed the top deck as well. You have an eagle here, which I think it signifies something royal, perhaps. Some strange things going on. I'm not sure if I understand the meaning of them. There's a goetic seal at the back here in green. I can see some astrological glyphs there, including Saturn and Mars, which is interesting. I believe that these are names of angels, but I could be completely wrong, so perhaps you should just ignore me. There's some stairs up here. Now, I think that's got something to do with the Hebrew letter as well, but some sort of ascension, perhaps. The couch is in evidence in the Night Sun Emperor. This couch does pop up with in a lot of the cards, that figure archetypes and people. But we got it from a different view, which is interesting. The view of the Emperor, we're looking up to him. I'm sure that is significant. I'm sure it is. Like, he's looking out across his kingdom, and he's holding this scepter. There's a lot of religious imagery, religious words as well. Again, I think it's simply just to signify that authority figure. So if I was to share with you some of the words, the keywords associated with the Emperor from the little white book that comes with the Night Sun deck, we're looking at things like dominion, stability, strength, rationalism, very un-Aryan, unless of course it's a mature Aryan energy, if you like. Equilibrium, again, very strange to be associated with Aries. Conquest, patriarchy, and obviously in this day and age the word patriarchy has some negative connotations, and rightly so. However, I believe when the emperor comes out and is upright in a good position, then you've got to think of the good things about a patriarchal figure, if you like, not system but figure. He's the protector, and he certainly is looking out for his people. I do see the emperor as a somewhat benevolent ruler, unless, of course, he comes out reversed or ill-dignified. Then we can think about things like tyranny, abuse of power. He could be an adversarial figure as well. That idea of the divine masculine, I think, in the same way that the Empress is the divine feminine, the Emperor is the divine masculine, and we need to look to that for the good things about it. If you ask me, that's just my view. I like the Emperor. Like I say, I consider him to be the boss, and if you stay on the right side of the boss, then you're okay. If not, then well, you'll feel that authority and power, I guess. The question posed by the Knights on deck is, how is my material life evolving and what am I building? Again, another very good question. I think these questions are designed for you to ponder when these archetypes come out in a spread, and it's a good question. So there you have it. That is the Emperor from the Knights on Tarot. Awesome.